Hello and welcome to Simple English Stories, the podcast where we help you learn English in a fun and natural way. I'm your host, Mia.
And I'm Alex. It's great to be with all of you today. We have a very interesting and maybe a little juicy topic for you.
That's right. Today we're diving into the world of office gossip and drama.
Ooh, dramatic. But it's a topic everyone can relate to, whether you work in an office, a school, or any place with other people. Understanding this topic can help you navigate social situations and understand a lot of informal English.
Exactly. So we'll start by defining what gossip is, then we'll tell you a short story about some office drama, and finally, we'll discuss how to handle these situations and learn some useful vocabulary along the way.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get started. All right, Mia. First things first. What exactly is gossip? How would you describe it?
That's a great starting point. Gossip is basically casual conversation about other people, and it often involves details that are not confirmed to be true. It's usually about their private lives.
Right. So it's not just talking about someone, but it has that element of secrecy or speculation. It's often negative, but not always.
And it's closely related to another word, rumor. A rumor is a piece of information that is being passed from person to person, but has not been proven to be true. For example, there's a rumor that the company is giving everyone a big bonus.
So a rumor is the story, and gossip is the act of spreading that story.
You got it. We also have some fun, informal phrases for this. Have you ever heard the expression to spill the tea?
Of course, it's very popular now. Spilling the tea means sharing all the details of the gossip. If a friend says, okay, spill the tea, they want to know everything about the situation.
Exactly. Another great phrase is the grapevine. If you hear something through the grapevine, it means you heard it informally from other people, not from an official source.
Right, like in the famous song, I heard it through the grapevine. So you might say, I heard through the grapevine that Mark is getting promoted.
Perfect example. Okay, now that we have some basic vocabulary, I think it's time for our story. Are you ready to dive into some office drama, Alex?
I am. Let's set the scene.
Okay, our story takes place at a company called Innovate Inc., and it's called The Case of the Missing Mug.
Ooh, intriguing. So at Innovate Inc., we have our first character, Sarah. Sarah is an accountant. She's very organized and a little quiet. She has a favorite coffee mug that her sister gave her. It has a picture of a cat on it, and it's very special to her.
And then we have Mark. Mark works in the marketing department. He's very outgoing, loves to joke around, and is known as the office prankster. A prankster is someone who likes to play jokes or pranks on people.
I see where this might be going. So one Monday morning, Sarah comes into the office kitchen to make her morning coffee, and her special cat mug is gone. It's not on her desk, and it's not in the kitchen cabinet.
She's very upset. Later that day, she's talking to her colleague, Jessica, by the water cooler. Sarah says, I can't believe my mug is gone. It meant so much to me.
And this is where the gossip starts. Jessica says, Mark was in the kitchen earlier. I bet he took it as a prank. You know what he's like. Jessica is making an assumption.
Right. A seed of an idea is planted in Sarah's mind. She doesn't have any proof, but she starts to believe it. Later, Jessica tells another coworker, did you hear? Mark stole Sarah's favorite mug.
And just like that, the rumor spreads through the office grapevine. By the end of the day, almost everyone has heard that Mark stole Sarah's mug. People start looking at Mark differently. The atmosphere in the office starts to change. There's a lot of tension.
Tension is a great word here. It means a feeling of nervousness or unfriendliness between people. Mark notices that people are being quiet around him, and he sees Sarah giving him angry looks, but he has no idea why.
The situation begins to escalate, which means it becomes more serious. Sarah is now so convinced that Mark is the culprit that she decides she has to confront him. To confront someone means to face them and talk to them about a problem.
So she walks over to Mark's desk. With a few other people watching, she says loudly, Mark, I know you took my mug. This isn't funny. I want it back now. She accuses him publicly. To accuse is to say someone has done something wrong.
Wow, that's intense. Mark is completely shocked. He says, "What are you talking about? I didn't take your mug. I would never do that." This is his denial. He is saying he did not do it.
But Sarah doesn't believe him. The argument gets louder and the whole situation gets out of hand. This idiom means it becomes uncontrollable.
Just then, their manager, Mr. Henderson, walks over. He asks what's going on. After hearing the story, he says, "Hold on a moment." He goes to the kitchen, and a minute later, he comes back holding the cat mug.
No way. Where was it?
Mr. Henderson explains, "I spoke to the cleaning staff. They were tidying up late on Friday and accidentally put it in the back of the top cupboard."
Oh, the silence in that office must have been deafening. It was all a huge misunderstanding. Sarah felt terrible. She had accused Mark in front of everyone, all because of some office gossip.
And that is the end of the case of the missing mug.
Wow, Alex, that story is a perfect example of how quickly gossip can create a toxic work environment.
It really is. So let's analyze this. What was the main problem here?
Well, for me, it started when Sarah jumped to conclusions. This is a great idiom, which means she made a decision about something too quickly without knowing all the facts. Jessica suggested it was Mark, and Sarah immediately believed it.
And instead of investigating or asking around calmly, she let the rumor influence her. The real issue was a lack of direct communication.
Exactly. Direct communication is key. So, how could Sarah have handled the situation better from the start?
Well, instead of accusing Mark, she could have approached him privately and said something like, "Hey Mark, this is a bit awkward, but have you by any chance seen my cat mug? It's gone missing and I'm just asking everyone."
That's a much better approach. It's not accusatory. It gives him the benefit of the doubt. This way, they could have avoided the whole drama. After the misunderstanding was revealed, they needed to clear the air.
To clear the air is another fantastic idiom. It means to talk about a problem to remove any anger or bad feelings. Sarah needed to apologize to Mark sincerely to fix their professional relationship.
Yes, and what about Jessica, the person who started the rumor? She also plays a big part in this drama.
Absolutely. She should not have speculated. A good piece of advice for our listeners is, if you don't know something for sure, don't say it. It's important to maintain professionalism at work. Professionalism is about behaving in a serious and appropriate way at your job.
That makes sense. So, for our listeners, if you find yourself in a situation with office gossip, what should you do?
I'd say the best thing to do is to not participate. If someone comes to you with gossip, you can just listen politely and then change the subject. Or say something neutral like, "Oh, I haven't heard anything about that." You don't want to be the person who spreads rumors.
That's very wise advice. Stay out of the drama, focus on the facts, and always try to communicate directly and respectfully with your colleagues.
All right, that brings us almost to the end of our episode. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We sure have. Let's do a quick recap of the key vocabulary and phrases we learned.
Okay, first we had gossip, which is talk about other people's private lives, and the rumor, which is an unconfirmed story.
Right, and we learned the fun phrases to spill the tea, meaning to share gossip, and to hear something through the grapevine, meaning to hear it informally.
In our story, we learned words like tension, escalate, confront, and accuse.
And, of course, the big one, misunderstanding, a failure to understand something correctly.
Finally, we talked about solutions, using idioms like to jump to conclusions, direct communication, and to clear the air.
We hope this story and these phrases were helpful for you. Office drama is never fun, but knowing the right English words to describe and handle it can make you feel much more confident.
Absolutely. And that's all the time we have for today on Simple English Stories. Thank you so much for listening.
Join us next time for another story to help you learn English. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast app. Until then, happy learning.